Good evening, hello, welcome everyone. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful to see you all, and welcome to this wonderful evening where we are connecting for a very special and very important aspect which we'll get into, that is the power of meditation. When we are talking about some of the extraordinary powers that meditators they have, and that's what we are going to inquire into, look into, and how that can come to us, what we can do, and why this power is there. What exactly happens in meditation? We are going through an exploration into this very specific field of meditation by understanding what exactly does this power express and why it happens. So let's get in. Welcome everyone onto this session, and I'm so happy to invite you all to this journey as we are progressing through every live session and exploring into a new fascinating field. Today being the day of exploring into meditation and the power of meditation, let's straightway look into some of the extraordinary powers that we have seen in meditators. Ages, from ancient times, we have heard about stories of extraordinary abilities and capabilities of yogis, siddhas, different yogis, and some of the extraordinary people who through meditation have done something exceptional. What are those? Why this happens? People have also seen some of the people, they live for very long, maybe hundreds of years. Some of the yogis recorded that they have spent more than 200 years on this planet. Some of them, they do not have food. These were of course told to us. But in recent times, there are certain experiments which have been done. There are certain extraordinary feats have been seen. Let's look at them one after the other, just for few, and then we'll understand how this actually happens, what exactly they do through the process of meditation. So great to have all your presence. Let's look at this and what exactly happens through meditation. Few of the very powerful examples that I'll bring forth before we proceed into the powers and how they come, why they come, what is the process that we follow for such kind of powers to get expressed through us. So the mystical powers, I would take example of this gentleman who recently passed on, Yogi Hiraratan Manik. Some of you might have heard of this person. And this gentleman chose not to eat, not to take any food, and for very long time he was surviving on sunlight and water, liquid food. And there were experiments done by doctors checking his body parameters, looking at what he is doing, and it was inexplicable. Many of the things which he was doing were very difficult to understand, but that was happening, recorded. He was also traveling all across the globe to let people know that through certain meditative processes he could acquire the skill, and every human being can do this. By doing something inside, by changing some parameters inside through meditative processes, he could survive on sunlight and water. Extraordinary. If you could understand that, you can mention in the chat box. These are extraordinary powers. Absolutely inexplicable. We do not know how this happens, but this happens. These are within the purview of human potential. He was a normal human being, not somebody who was doing meditation for years and ages in the Himalayas, but through certain meditative processes he could acquire these skills to stay without food and without water, and was fit, and he was absolutely sharing this, and these were being showcased. He had been traveling all across the globe, and recently, before he passed on in Kozhikode in India, he hails from Ahmedabad, he was demonstrating this, and doctors were also doing many experimentation on his unusual feat. So this is one such case. There are many. So I thought this was been there are a lot of research study has been done on this, so I thought I'll share this. One more, this was few years back, but this was unusual. If you've heard about this story of thick Quang Duk, one of the Buddhist monks in Vietnam in 1963 on 11th of June. He chose to go for a self-immolation. That means he would burn himself off as a mark of protest to the kind of things, atrocities that were being done to Buddhists in those time in Vietnam. And he said, this is not suicide. I'm just, with proper intimation to everyone, I am surrendering, submitting my body for the peace of the Buddhist community here in Vietnam. We don't know whether that was right or wrong, but the unusual thing, some of the things which people witnessed was extraordinary. As thick Quang Duk sat down and some petroleum were poured onto him. The video is there already on YouTube. It was poured onto him and he was lit up. He was burning and he was just sitting on meditative posture. Continued sitting on the meditative posture for the entire period till he was completely burnt and his body fell down. This was something inexplicable. How somebody can withstand that kind of a heat without even moving a single muscle of the body. So scientifically it was very, very unusual. The second thing which was found is his heart was untouched. It was intact. Body was completely burnt off. Heart was intact, and they have kept it as a holy relic in Vietnam, and that's been worshipped as a symbol of compassion. So that is again because of the meditative power that he had. So these are few of the examples which in modern times we have seen, and there are thousands and hundreds of such research which are being done. And nowadays, because of the advent of new technology, now they are doing it right into the brain of the monks. At Contemplative Neuroscience in the US, which is headed by a very revered scientist, Dr. Richard Davidson, they have been doing numerous studies on monks, their brain, and what is happening there, how they are getting some unusual kind of powers, and probably everyone is not demonstrating them, but for sure they have something exceptional within them. One more very extraordinary case again was recorded. This is about Paramahansa Yogananda. It is after his death. 20 days passed and something exceptional. The body was there. In 20 days, there were absolutely no decay of the body. As this is the statement of the mortuary director of that particular mortuary, who says the absence of any visual signs of decay in the dead body of Paramahansa Yogananda offers the most extraordinary case in our experience. No physical disintegration was visible in his body even 20 days after death. No indication of mold was visible on his skin. No visible drying up took place in the bodily tissues. This state of a perfect preservation of a body is, so far as we know from mortuary annals, an unparalleled one. No order of decay emanated from this body at any time. Absolutely mysterious how this can happen. Dead body lying there for 20 days, having no decay, nothing, and even some people who witnessed, they say there was a different flavor, fragrance was coming. What was it? And how these kind of unusual things are manifested by some of the meditators. In fact, most of the meditators. What exactly is the science behind that? Although scientifically, now a lot of studies are being done. Few of the things which we have seen, heard and observed are these. One, meditators, they have the capability to change their bodily parameters. Like most of the meditators, in fact, many of you might even change your bodily parameters like the heart rate. Anyone who meditates for few moments, willfully you can change your heart rate. This is a possibility. You can change your body temperature. You can change your body parameters like blood pressure, blood sugar and many other things. They say due to certain internal state of being, you can do that. In one of the sessions, we were also discussing about healing energy which is there already inside. They say you can activate that by intervening in that subtle regimen, in that subtle space, in that subtle internal state of being. That's a possibility if you are getting into the meditative state. And that's what they say is possible by the meditators through some internal contemplative processes. Number two, what meditators can also do and are doing and are capable of doing is influencing others. Most of the evolved souls, they do not do that, but they have the power to know what is going on at different places and influence external things. Few of the research which have been done on meditators, it has been seen their capability to intuitively know some of the future occurrences and some changes that happens inside few of the neuro pathways are very unparalleled. As if they are seeing their occipital lobe at certain point is flashing before an event occurring. It happens with some unusual kind of processes. We do not know. Science is still not able to figure out what is it happening, so that they are getting some intuitive signals from some source which is letting them know about some future occurrence happening. So this is one more thing. Intuition, insightful intuition about something is likely to happen. Probably they are getting those beforehand. Few more things, like you also slow down your aging process. You are capable of manipulating, intervening, navigating your metabolism to a large extent. That's the way when we saw someone is just living on sunlight, water, because the metabolism is somehow organized in a different fashion. The body is managing energy from different sources without depending on food energy. So this is another capability, and these are the things which have been observed in different controlled conditions through scientific experimentations. Now let's understand what is this. When we go back to the ancient tradition, ancient history, ancient texts, what exactly is meditative process from a scientific point of view, and also using those terms, using and understanding those terms, we are getting into this at a very simple, through a simple framework. The human structure, body, as per the ancient Indian wisdom, is trichotomous, means it has 3 layers, broadly 3 layers. We'll talk about another concept where 5 layers are there. So broadly it is trichotomous, Vedantic approach. They say one is the physical body, gross body, sthula sharira. The physical body that we have is one which we all know. We are saying, I am this. When you say Sandip Das, you are actually recognizing this physical body of mine. You are not recognizing some mind or anything else. Yeah. So this is the physical body, one layer, one aspect of the body. The second aspect of the body is, which is very different, and we can easily, from our common sense, we can understand what is that. Let's say a physical body is dead. Someone has died. So is that body still that person, or it is body of that person? It is body of that person. Commonsensically we can say that body of that person. Now, what is it that was inhibiting? What is it that was there inside? That is termed as the sukshma sarira, the subtle body. The subtle body, or the sukshma sarira, the second aspect of the body. Now when we are talking about meditation, we are shifting our focus from the sthula sharira, and sthula sharira also comprises the exteriority, because all the physical aspects of our body, like the ability to see the physical things, the ability to hear the physical sound, the ability to touch objects, all these are also phenomena which are being consumed by the sthula sharira. Now the ability to do that is in the sukshma sarira, subtle body, and that comprises many things. It comprises it consists of the different energies, They term it as prana. 5 different forms of prana, different forms of our capabilities, internal faculties, the capability of the mind, mana, buddhi, chitta, ankara. So different traditions of Indian schools of thoughts, they have put it differently. Like in the Vedanta, you will see 19 different aspects, 19 different aspects, which is consuming the aspects of sthula and sukshma sarira. So this is the aspect where we get into. Sukshma sarira is the internal energy field and internal consciousness field, reflected consciousness field, also known as the psychic energy that we have, the energy which is letting us live this life. It includes the prana and the mana and the some aspects of the buddhi as well. So that is what we term as the sukshma sarira. When we are talking about meditation, we are shifting from the physical realm to this subtle realm, to the realm of energy and consciousness. So meditation is about energy consciousness. If you understood this, you can mention meditation is about energy and consciousness. Meditation is about shifting our attention from the gross world and getting into the understanding and access to that energy and consciousness field. That is what we say the meditative process. That's how these people, if you see their capabilities, what have they done? They can stay without food. They can intuit. They can go beyond time and space, go out of this body. There are numerous examples where people have projected themselves. There is a new fancy word, they call it astral projection in Western terms, where you project your soul outwardly and you leave the body and go somewhere else. And this has been demonstrated, shown, and been enumerated in many of the ancient literature, even the modern literature, some of the cases where people have out of body experience. The out of body experience is one of the domain of scientific research nowadays, including the near death experiences. So this is where we are talking about the subtle body phenomena. Do you get it? Are you getting it? What is the subtle body? That energy consciousness which is inside this body, which is running the whole show. Our ability to think, our ability to see and feel and sense, the sensory organs and their activities, their processes systems, all these are powered by that subtle energy. And our ability to shift from the gross element to that subtle element is one of the aspects of meditation. Since we can shift there, we can also intervene there, we can manipulate that, we can change that, we can also access certain energy which is not available in the physical realm. If you understood this, just mention meditation is about getting deeper. It's about getting deeper to that energy consciousness, getting deeper, getting inward, and that is super powerful. Unfortunately, vast majority of humanity, we are not accessing that extraordinary supernatural power bestowed upon all of us. This is getting deeper, understanding that inner power which is capable of giving us extraordinary supernatural powers to live our life, elevate our consciousness and soul, and making our life far more enchanting and far more rich in terms of our experience, in terms of our growth of our soul. So that's what we term as the meditative process. Again, when we talk about the sukshma sarira and the sthula sarira, there is a third aspect I mentioned about the trichotomous, three aspects. The third aspect, how we get there, what exactly is that? It's known as causal or the karana sharira. Karana sharira, in terms of, if you go to the Vedanta, karana sharira. It's also, there is another division called the Panchakosha. If you've heard about this, the Panchakosha Viveka as per the Taittiriya Upanishad. Again, similar, where it talks about the Annamaya Kosha, physical body. Annamaya is the physical aspect. They say body is the food rearranged. The food has converted into the body because of that energy. See, this is so interesting. We were nothing. We were something zero. One cell that was created in the mother's womb, when there is a sperm cell which has fertilized the egg cell, and that one cell from nowhere it has come, and that one cell, because of some energy which was there, it is using different environmental physical food to a body. That energy is creating all these things. It is creating the body. So the body is created by that energy. What we are saying in scientific term, that the body is actually giving that emergence to this energy and the mind. But ancient tradition, they say differently. That conscious energy is creating this body by transforming physical objects and food and rearranging them, creating extraordinary transformation, transcendence inside to make it a human body. Rice converted to human body. A pizza, after some time it has become the human body. Cells have been created. So that has happened through that energy. Now, this they say, Annamaya Kosha, then the Pranamaya Kosha, the prana aspect. The prana aspect, there are 5 different pranas. We are not getting more detailed into that, but different pranas which are flowing in different channels in the body as per the ancient cosmology, that is transforming this physicality into a process, into some kind of flow inside, and that flow is making this body to live on. There is an aspect called the Manomaya Kosha, or consciousness. So prana and mano and buddhi, it is also known as the Vijnanamaya Kosha. It is some kind of, can differentiate the manomaya and the Vijnanamaya in terms of memory or the conditioned mind and the emergent mind, the insightful mind. So the Vijnanamaya Kosha. And then they say there is something called the Anandamaya Kosha, which can be also known as the causal aspect of ours, which is the reason for which we are there. It actually hints at there is nothing, and the universal energy is giving us a cause, and that cause is creating us. So that's called the causality for which our prana has come and our body has come. So the deeper meditation, when we get into a state of samadhi, you can see in the causal body there is no body. Nothing has been shown. Here there is a body has been shown. Here there is a physical body shown. Here it is absolute silence. It's absolute nothingness. So the causal body, which is experienced when we are in deep sleep, the causal body, if you go to the Mandukya Upanishad, it talks about that state of deep sleep when we are in that pragya avastha. That's what it says. Your name in that body is called pragya. It's absolute seed state, causal state. So this is where the meditators, they try to delve into samadhi, where they lose their existence and get into that causal state. Absolute nothing in between that cause and themselves. So in a way, deeper we go in, more and more extraordinary powers that we express through ourselves. What are the ways and means to meditate? There are many. Few of the meditation processes we'll also take up in the upcoming session. Simple yet supremely powerful. Very simple. It's not difficult. Rather, I'll put it, it's not complex. It's simple but difficult. Simple but difficult, meaning the steps are known. As we know how to reduce fat, simple. Eat less, do more exercise, you will be lean and thin. Steps are simple but very difficult to actually apply in our life. So that's what we learn, that how we take ourselves from this gross world and train our mind slowly to get inward. The first step they use is just to pay attention to your breath, withdrawing from outside and paying attention to your breath. There are numerous different processes. If you go to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we know that Astanga Sutra, wherein we start from the physical aspects. We start from the yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, and then we get inside dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, getting into the deeper aspects of ours. So the power of meditation has got no limits. There are numerous, hundreds of cases, hundreds of different, across the globe we'll find people have done extraordinary things just by sheer meditation, by doing meditation, connecting to their deepest source, the soul. When they do that, they get to the power, and the power is not necessarily something that they show off. They experience it, and more compassion that comes in, more and more kindness that comes in. When you are having more power, you are not aggressive, you are rather more calm and composed. So that's what is seen. There are many instances where people have achieved extraordinary feats through meditative processes. So we know these are the powers available out there, and it's time for us to really embrace this, to get into that practice, go to that meditative processes, sit down quiet, start getting inward. And it's a very funny language. When we say inward, we start looking at what is that inward, just focusing on yourself, explore into yourself. And easy way is to focusing on the breath, focusing in your body, focusing on different aspects of your experience inside. That's what take us to the meditative process. In one of the upcoming sessions, we are going to discuss about various kinds of meditative processes and how we can really bring them to our life and practice them, apply them in our life. The essence of this is practice. The problem is we know, but we don't do. They say these are two very different things. Knowing is a different thing and doing is a very different thing. Someone may be knowing many things, knowing that taking less food, not taking junk food is good, but taking all those things. Like we can take examples of many of the doctors who know everything about what happens, what is the physiology, what is the anatomy, what is happening, how the heart functions, what happens to the brain, what should we do, what should not we do. But you'll find many of them are not disciplined. Knowing and doing are different things. Our best tribute to these sessions, these things are doing. Let's all commit and do this, change, transform our life, applying meditation to ourselves. And this is what I would urge all of you to do. Let's all commit and do this. If you like the session, if you enjoyed the session, I would urge all of you, in case you liked it, please do like in the YouTube itself. The reason being, this will help it go to more and more people, because that's how the YouTube algorithm is designed. And also, if you have not subscribed to this channel as of now, if you think these kind of inputs would be helpful to you, please consider subscribing to the channel as well. And you are most welcome to share with all your near and dear ones, wherein they can also get these simple things, but probably they can apply and change their quality of life as well. With that, thank you very much. And your comments in the comment box, if you can have any doubts, anything that you want to see in the upcoming sessions, any specific query that you have, please put that in the comment box. At a later point in time also you can put there, and I would definitely try to come back to that and answer your queries. And please also suggest me what are the topics, what are the areas that you'd like to delve into in the upcoming sessions, so that accordingly I can also bring those to you. Thank you very much for being part of this wonderful evening and session, and giving me so much of encouragement by being present there, by responding on the comment box. Thank you very much. Take care. And also, if you have not seen earlier videos, please do click on the ones which are upcoming, which will be there on the screen. Please watch them as well. They would be pretty helpful and handy for you to apply and get some fascinating benefits out of them. Thank you and God bless.